That's something that parents need to know, especially if your children attend Summerwood Elementary School in Palmdale, California, where there are the principal, who her name was Linda Brandt. Her and 3 other teachers was pictured holding a noose. And as you can see on this picture, they're laughing about it. They're having a great time with a symbol of terrorism that was enacted on us as a everyday thing just because the Ku Klux Klan wanted to do so. And that is still happening to black people today. It is happening so much so that anytime a black man is hung, the police is in on it and saying, oh, it's a suicide. We all know black people don't commit suicide that way, and surely we won't be tying no nooses. We don't even know how to do that. That's things from their history. And yet we don't get the FBI involved. We don't do our own things to end that practice. But let's go ahead and roll this clip.
One of the teachers in that picture is a first grade teacher, and my daughter's in her class. And for them to even have to see this, because they seen this and they're just like, they don't understand, you know, my ancestors were hung by something like this, and they're laughing all in the picture.
You hate them little black babies. You hate them little Spanish babies. All them little minorities. You hate them.
Darren Harper is a furious and curious parent tonight. He wants to know why on earth teachers at Summerwind Elementary School in Palmdale would take a picture posing with a noose.
We want her gone from this school. And that's just it. We want her out of here. I do personally. I do. Because I know what she about. The pictures prove it. That's what she about, and that's what she allowed to go on. So she need to go.
Staff tells me the school's principal, Linda Brandt, emailed both pictures to all staff at the school. There was nothing written in the email, just the photograph showing the women smiling, laughing, and pointing at the objects. One parent tells me the racism is a prevalent problem at the school.
I've requested that my kid be taken out of one classroom because that teacher in particular has shown prejudice, discrimination against my kid, and when I requested the black teacher, I got grief for that.
An employee who doesn't want to be identified tells me the women in the picture are all first grade teachers.
The lack of people of color teaching is a huge issue, especially being a highly qualified teacher. The need is great, but apparently it's not being addressed, and it seems that there seemed to be a sorting of who should be working here.
Palmdale School District Superintendent Raul Maldonado sent me this statement stating he found out about the noose incident today and, quote, possibly inappropriate responses to that discovery occurred at Summerwind Elementary School. The principal has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation of the matter.
I got kids to raise. You hate them. You don't know nothing about them. But you hate them just because where they from, because the color of their skin. You hate them. They innocent. My babies, you hate them. Why?
Now, let's talk about what it is. The majority of the teachers in this country are Caucasian female. That's done by design. It's not that African American women or men don't want to teach. No, it's not that. All that's done by design to keep a control. We need teachers from our community teaching our children, because when they teach our children at the age of 10, especially if you are a black boy, they view you as adult-like in nature, and that comes from the American Psychological Association back in 2014. Law enforcement look at black children at the age of 10, especially the black boy, as adult-like in nature. But when it comes to the white one, oh, he's still a kid. They'll call a 25-year-old a kid. But our children, he's a man. This is what they say. Because they don't view our kids the same way, because it's a lot of inherent racial bias that's in them to do so. And I told you guys, the majority of people who are racist are not in the Ku Klux Klan. They're not in the alt-right. They're not a neo-Nazi. They're not any kind of white nationalist. They're not. They're working every day at the school. They're working at Walmart. When you go into different restaurants, they're there. You go into the hospitals, they're there. They're everywhere in America. Just letting you know this. It's a very, very sick mentality. Now, you heard the way the parents respond to this. In this school, is hardly no teachers that have any kind of color to them. Now you heard the one parent say, hey, she wanted her child to be with the black teacher. Why would she say that? Not to say the black teacher is smarter, but the fact is, at least with the black teacher, I don't have to worry about racism with the black teacher. That's why. Why are you getting offended for? You don't like black people? Like, I don't understand that. Then this school is made up, a third of the school is black and a third of the school is Hispanic. So you got people at the school that's making up probably the majority of the people there. And yet you have this attitude and you thinking playing with nooses is fun in so-called liberal California. Let me tell you about California. California has a lot of racism there. Don't you sit up there and think, oh, it's a blue state, you don't have them problems. You would think that. But no, it's a lot of stone cold racism. But let me tell you something, because see, I've heard some people say, oh, the South, let me tell you, Malcolm X said this, and I go with Malcolm X say more than anybody else. He said anything south of Canada is the South, meaning the whole United States is the South. And that's the truth. Because why isn't you see this happening in Alabama or whatever? Not say it don't, but you don't supposed to expect that to happen in a California. It's happening in New York too. The states that have the strong liberal policies. But I told people in the day, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative is all white supremacy. And you just got one that treats you maybe a little different and one's more harsh. That's it. How is it that we as black parents send our kids to school for this? And let me tell you something else is bad. That principal was being considered to take over as superintendent. And this how she feels? I want to know the disciplinary record for black children at that school. I'd like to know that, especially the black boys. Because when you feel that way, I would like to see the grades of those black children. I like it because they're not going to treat you right. Especially you holding the news and it's funny to you. I mean, it's sick. It's very sick. And I told you guys many times before. You sit up here and talk about the racist Caucasian man, but you don't ever speak about the woman. The woman is the first teacher of the child, not the man. That's who's nurturing that racism in the children early. But nobody talks about that. These women are participating in racism and white supremacy. They back their man up with that too. Politically and whatever else they back them up on.
And I just can't take part in something that is so focused against a white man. Because frankly, I feel white men have done a lot for this country and for this legislature, as all men have.
But unfortunately, in our community, we got some people that do anything to hurt us, male or female, because they're on code with white supremacy. They understand that's the greatest system ever for them. Why do they want to give that up? Well, my thing is the obsession with the hatred. Obsessed. Like, I can live my life just trying to think of new ways, or not even new ways, because they don't have no new tricks. Just always trying to hate on this one group of people. Like, that's stupid. That's dumb. My thing is, that's why I say this high IQ they say they have. You taking pictures with a noose. Eventually somebody gonna leak it. Somebody's gonna pass something out to the internet. Your high IQ didn't figure that out. I'm just saying. I mean, it's amazing how they say it's so smart, but yet they do the exact same thing and get caught up the exact same ways. Hundreds and hundreds of times they get caught up. My thing is this. As black parents, when are we gonna take responsibility for our children? Because they gonna do what they do. I'm not trying to change them. I've accepted long ago. That's just how they are when it comes into relation with us. It's some sort of bias there. And they got to figure that out on their own. I'm not trying to figure that out for them. I'm talking about what we do, right? We have to pay attention to this and say, what is our options with school? Now, I can discuss many options. One option could be homeschool. Another option could be a private school that's ran by us. Another option could be a charter school that's ran by us. So let me go through the fourth option, which is fourth option I don't like the most. But I'm going to address this fourth option because somebody had said something to me. So I was talking about a video I done on my other channel, Advanced Media Network channel. And it was basically an assistant principal telling a black girl to turn off her N-word music, right? In a school in Denton, Texas. I covered that. Go check that out. And I put that on Twitter, and he say, well, Phil, you know, I work a full-time job. My wife work a full-time job, and we barely making it. It'd be hard for us to send our children to a private school. I don't know their financial situation. I don't know what it's comprised of. But let me talk about a fourth option for those kind of people. Then if it's that way for you, then you're going to have to get extremely politically motivated locally. Meaning, y'all will have to start running for the school board. Y'all will have to start running for the city council. We're getting positions in that city, showing up at all those school board meetings, being at those schools constantly. Let these teachers know and these administrators know, this is who I am. I want to find out what's going on in this school all the time and then bring it to the board. To keep your foot on their neck constantly. You have to push, why is it we don't have black teachers hired in these schools? And you have to constantly bring it up to the school board and put their foot to the fire and say, oh, was y'all discriminatory? Y'all don't want to hire black people? Like, what's the problem? Why is it we don't have enough black teachers? We got a third of the children black and we don't have black teachers? You have a third of the children Hispanic. You don't have Hispanic teachers? Like, what's going on here? Why is the majority of teachers are white women? And it's a problem. Obviously, we see it so bad that we have open racists holding nooses, posting them in the walls. It is a problem. And you would have to keep your foot on their neck to make them do what's right. And me personally, I don't see enough people willing to do that to keep your foot on their neck. People running for the school board and having the whole community come out and vote for that person. Everybody hands on deck. Everybody having their voter registration card. Because what good are you if you cannot even participate in the process and you can? That's what I'm saying. You could do something in the public schools, but it's going to take a mass movement in your cities to do so. That's all it's going to take. So, but for me, that's going to be like an uphill battle for you. While kids are still dealing with these issues, my thing is pull your kids out of the process. That's what you have to do. That's the best way. Put your kids in a, when I say private, it's because we doing it the way we want to do it when it's private or if it's homeschool. I know many black people are doing homeschool. Many black people are sending their kids to private. And like I say, these private institutions I'm talking about, I'm not talking about taking your kids from public school and go put in some white-owned, white-ran private school. No, I'm talking about a private school that's ran by black folks. I'm talking about a private school that has a high academic record that's ran by us. That's what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes some people move their whole life for their kids' education. Sometimes we may have to do that. I'd rather move somewhere and have my child be in a school that she's happy, comfortable, don't have to worry about dealing with teachers who are holding nooses, than sitting there staying in that city. I'll do anything I can for my children. That's why I try to work so hard for them. So one day, when the good Lord ready for me, even when I'm not here, they still be taken care of. But for me, I just can't subject my children to people like that. I can't have good conscience, because what if my child was going to that school? I'll be extremely upset. But then at the same time, I'll say, okay, what I'm going to do about it? I'm not going to send my child back there. What I'm going to do? No, it's not right. So I'll just lay out the options. That's our solutions. Which one you're going to take, that's on you. But the fact is, we got to step up as black parents. We got to step it up. We can't allow our kids to be subjected to this. We need to create schools on top of that as well. We have to create them, and we can create them. We don't need their money to do so. All we got to do is pool our resources together in our cities and create viable schools for our children. Every child I know that go to a good black school, they're happy. They're learning. They don't have race soldiers beating them up and pepper spraying them, or teachers being racist toward them, so getting them suspended. They don't have those issues and problems. Our children should not be subjected to that. Now, we get subjected to it, we grown, that's one thing. But our precious children, no. Our precious children shouldn't be coming home and asking you, well, why they calling me a monkey? They should never had that conversation with you. Oh, one story I done, a little child come home asking mom about, they call me a slave. Our children need to be subjected to that mess. Let our children be innocent and pure long as they can before they have to deal with that evil. It's on us to do so. We have to take responsibility as black parents to take care of our children, because these people are not going to take care of our children. You already know that. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story. But we got to step it up as parents and protect our children, because this system will not protect our children whatsoever.